So I want to talk about borrow defense to repayment. We have a lot of student loan borrowers who have put borrow defense applications in, even more that want to put borrow defense applications in, but you may not be sure if this is the route for you to go due to the fact that everything that is happening with federal student loans, how long it's taking for those who currently have a application in to get a response back. But what I'm here to tell you, if you have been defrauded, if you have experienced any type of misconduct that is listed under the borrow defense application, during your attendance at any school and you use federal funds to pay for that education, you want to put in your borrower's defense application, okay? The only way you can advocate for yourself or to make things known is by speaking up, is by putting this information out here through this application. And there's other ways as well. But in order to get the federal student loans discharged, this is your avenue. If there's something that happened listed in the borrower's defense application under the federal program to get the loans discharged, okay? So let's go to the student aid website because this is where you access the application. And mind you, it is a free application. It costs you nothing to put in a borrower's defense application, okay? But we're going to go to the application. You go under loan forgiveness and you hit click borrow defense to repayment. You want to stay up to date with borrower's defense as well. And the student aid website tells you everything that you need to know about what's going on with borrower defense. So we can hit get updates about borrower defense. And when you get here, this is where it's going to show you all of the information with student aid and discharges and action that the Department of Education has taken against certain institutions, certain schools. And you'll see all the list of schools here, okay? And you want to take a look to see what is actually taking place. There are still some lawsuits that are currently in play. So you want to look at the information here, especially if you have one of the schools that is lined up on the side of here, okay? And even if you don't have a school that is on any a list or any that is on this page, you can still submit a borrower's defense application. Your school does not need to be on this page or on any type of list in order for you to put an application in, okay? But one thing that's important to know is that the application has changed. The rules have changed. With the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the way that the borrower's defense application is going to be evaluated has changed. Now, mind you, the prior application for those, and a lot of borrowers already have their applications in, there was a 2022 rule during the Biden administration. But things happened with that particular rule. There were a bunch of colleges, states, that were not happy about this rule that was trying to be passed because it would have made it a lot easier for borrowers to get their student loans discharged under borrower's defense. But with the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and I'm going to show you in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, that rule is on hold until 2035. So when you hear someone talking about this 3-year time frame that the student loans will be discharged if there's not a decision on your application, that is not the case, okay? And you can go directly to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And what we're going to do, this is 331 pages of information. But we're going to go to, and what you can just type in, I've already been here quite a few times. Just type in regulatory relief, okay? Because it's a PDF. So you can just go and Google and type in One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It'll take you to congress.gov. This is the site that I go to. You just download the PDF version, and what that allows you to do is just kind of type things in to search through the act, okay? But we're going to go to subtitle F, regulatory relief, and this is where we'll see section 85001, delay of rule relating to borrow defense to repayment. And we're just going to highlight this here because it's too many pages to scroll through. So we're just going to have my computer work, my mouse. All right, and then we're going to copy that. Then we're just going to paste it here right up into the document. Okay, so that way it can get us to the page, and then we are going to hit enter, and it'll get us down here to regulatory relief. And this is where you can read about what it speaks about in regards to borrow defense, and it tells you the delay of rule relating to borrow defense to repayment. Begin on the date of enactment of this section for loans that first originate before July 1st, 2035. The provision of subpart may go into the different parts of the CFR relating to borrow defense as added or amended by final regulations published by the Department of Education. They go on more to tell you that it shall not be in effect. So right here, you'll see that, okay? So we know, and if we go to the actual borrow defense application, it tells us now as far as how are they going to evaluate applications going forward? Meaning if you put your application in today, what are they going to do and how are they going to evaluate that application? The application, the instructions is very clear, y'all. We just got to make sure that we're reading it for ourselves. And that way they'll tell you under borrow defense and repayment regulations, certain misconduct committed by a school that you attended or that your child attended. So remember, if you're a parent plus borrow, you have to put in your own application, and you just basically use the allegation that your student has that you took out the loans for and utilize that as your story, okay? If you are a parent plus borrower, you might be eligible to receive a discharge of your applicable federal student loans. They tell you this is called a borrower defense to repayment. But here, they tell you this type of conduct might make you eligible for student loan relief, and process by which the department will review your claim may differ based upon when you took out your loan. So we know that they are looking at the claim based on when you took out your federal student loans. And they tell you, please note, if you consolidated your loans, we evaluate your application based upon when your loan was consolidated. In general, loans taken out or consolidated on or prior to June, and they give you the different regulations. They were taken out or consolidated prior to June, they give you the section of law. And again, what you want to do is real easy, y'all. Just take the information, because we want to know how this application is going to be evaluated. And the only way to know that is to go look at the regulation. So you just highlight it directly from the application. And again, go to Google. Okay. And you can just, like we just copied and paste. And I got a little bit too much in there, but just copy and paste, hit enter. All right. And I like to go to Cornell Law, and it's going to take you to borrower responsibilities. And it'll tell you borrower defense repayment for loans dispersed prior to July 1st, 2017. And they give you all of the information that you need. Go on to the next one, borrower defense for loans dispersed on or after. All of that. So that way you'll know exactly how the department is going to evaluate the application. They give you the definitions of the wording that's in the application, misrepresentation, all of that, financial harm, and things that are excluded. So things as far as if you are going to bring a claim, what things are excluded under borrower defense. So you just want to make sure that you read this, y'all. All the information is here. We just have to make sure that we become a more informed borrowers, and when we're putting an application, we have an understanding of what we are putting in. If you need assistance with borrower defense, I'll be glad to help. I have a cheat sheet on my website as well, that you can go take a look at. But like I said, all the information here is on the Student Aid website, all for free. All right, good luck, y'all.